This is Jane Marie.
And this is Soko.
You are now listening to the Queer Ambition Podcast.
The Queer Ambition Podcast is the only podcast celebrating rising LGBTQ professionals,
providing advice on navigating the modern workplace,
and discussing polarizing topics within the community.
Now listen up.
Awesome. So let's welcome him to the Queer Ambition Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, Mark.
Thank you.
Mark, you have been nominated for the Queer Ambition Spotlight by Carol Melendez. So this is what Carol said to let us know more about you and also suggest you and nominate you to the podcast. So Carol says, I am a faithful listener of your podcast and I'm emailing you to nominate a Queer Ambition icon. Gay, gender, non-conforming Latino, Mark Travis Rivera. He is a graduate of William Paterson University. He has a degree in women's and gender studies. He currently lives in New York City and works at John Jay College. Shout out to John Jay. I went to John Jay.
Shout out to William because I went to
drafts. He has. Yeah, that's cool. That's dope. So, she's talking about your new book. He has written drafts, an imperfect collection of writing. He has traveled the United States giving keynote lectures at many universities, colleges, including Harvard University. And he is a founder of the Mark's Dance Project, which is made up of men and women with disabilities. Mark has been an inspiration to myself as well as others. I'd recommend his book. It's a quick and easy read, but has a multitude of depth. He is that once-in-a-lifetime person who you get to share space with, and he transforms your life, or at least your outlook on life. So once again, welcome to the podcast, Mark.
Welcome. That was Carol Melendez. She wrote a whole book about you.
Oh gosh, I'm blushing. Very touching.
Oh man, that's good. That's great. So yeah, she nominated you, brought you to our attention. So welcome. We're so happy to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So we're gonna get you warmed up a little bit, get your blood flowing, and we're gonna go into some icebreaker questions. Some of them might be silly, but whatever. We're here to have fun. So my first question, people, a magic genie has granted you 3 wishes. What are you asking for? Mark, you first.
All 3? Okay.
3 wishes.
I'm wishing for love in the new year. I'm wishing for more people to buy my book so I can get the word out there. And I'm wishing for happiness, continued happiness.
Those are really humble wishes.
They are. Super, very, I would say like not shallow at all. Just the basic. He wants to be happy, he wants to be in love, and he wants his book to sell. That makes complete sense.
Jay Marie, how about you?
3 wishes. Wow. 3 wishes. I'd like to be able to travel the entire world without money being an obstacle. I would like to. Wow. I would like for my mom to find love in her life. And I would like to be able to learn as much as I can before I die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are good ones too. All right, now I'm on the spot here. Let me not sound too shallow as I am. So my first wish, I want to say that I want a long, healthy life for all my family and friends. Everyone who I'm close to, I just want them to live a long, healthy life, to be on this planet as long as possible. That's my first wish. My second wish, guys, money. I mean, if I'm going to ask a genie for something, give me some money. I'm not even going to go crazy. Just give me $1 million. You'll be okay, genie. Just 1 million. That's all I need. I could flip it, invest it, do whatever I need to do with it. And then my third thing, similar to you, Jay Marie's traveling. I want to be able to travel without money being an issue. Just go, just money and visas. Why do I have to have a visa to go over these imaginary boundaries that someone has created? It's beyond me. But yeah, those are my 3 wishes.
Okay.
All right. All right, next question. It takes you 10,000 hours to be an expert at something. What would you be an expert in? It can't be in your current profession.
Okay. Good disclaimer.
Like teaching.
How to be a good defense attorney.
Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah.
I love law, and I love criminal justice reform, and I love watching political dramas. So I was always interested in like being a lawyer when I was a kid. But I discovered writing around the same time that I discovered I wanted to be a lawyer, and I fell in love with writing, and so that kind of took over my life. But if I could have another lifetime, I would pursue law.
Okay. Soko?
I would be an artiste. I would love to paint. I mean, I'm always so jealous of people who can paint their ass off. And I always wish I had that skill. So I would be a painter.
I like that. These are good ones. You want to be a lawyer? Oh, man. It's going to sound so ridiculous. Probably like meditation. I don't know, like I so badly want to become like one with body, mind, and spirit, and I wish that I could like put my mind at rest sometimes and I kind of like control my thoughts, you know. So meditation, if I could be an expert or something, that would be me.
Yeah, that's a good one, because a lot of people don't know how to meditate, or they're not able to shut their brain off. Mark, do you meditate?
I journal, which is my form of meditation, so I try to journal as much as possible.
That's cool. Okay. All right, so last one. All right, which animal would you choose to be and why? I'll answer first since we're gonna go. I don't know, from a young age, I always had this infatuation with a white tiger. And I think it's just because they're so rare and they're so beautiful. So a white tiger is for me. Mark.
Does it have to be a real life animal, or can it be from like an imaginary animal?
Anything you want.
Good.
A phoenix. I actually have a tattoo of a phoenix.
Ooh, nice.
And the phoenix represents burning and rising again. And so that would be like my animal. Like I can pick an animal to be. I'd be a phoenix.
I like that. If I could be, it's funny because off the bat I'm thinking like I want to fly, so it'll be some type of bird. But also I feel like they're not that attractive. I know that sounds ridiculous. So like maybe like a Black Panther. I would have to go with another big cat. Yeah. I love how like they just seem majestic as fuck. Like I love them. I want to be a Black Panther.
All right, that movie comes out soon. Sidebar.
Yep. I'm excited.
Okay, one more question. I'm breaking the rules because we talked about Black Panther, the movie. So if you could have a superhero power, what would it be?
To move things with my mind.
Okay. So like Magneto?
No, he controls metal. More like Jean Grey.
Jean Grey.
Check.
I know, right?
All right.
Together.
All right, boo. I see you. He was like, no. More like.
Yeah, I love Marvel.
I would want to be, what would I want to do? Damn, it's hard. I think I would want to read people's minds.
Ooh.
Are you sure?
I know it's scary though. Do I really want to read people's minds?
No. Yeah.
Figure out how fucked up people in this world really are.
But they really think about you?
And what they really think about me? Jesus. Either that or to be indestructible, right? I can like fall off a building or something and just like put myself back together again.
Okay. Flight. It goes back to flying. I always want to fly. Whenever I think about the ability to fly, I always I always imagine walking out of my apartment and just going to like a pyramid in Egypt and just hanging out. Like what's good? Because I can fly. So that's true.
Get home quicker, avoid traffic, you know, all that. All right. Let's go into some interview questions, some official interview questions. J. Marie, start it off.
So, Mark, we started this off by just going through some of the things about you that Carol really admired. So you are a gender non-conforming man, you are a teacher, you're a dancer, you're an activist, and you're a choreographer. So, you have a long list of attributes about you. But people may not know by just looking at you that you are also disabled. So can you tell us more about your disability, how it has affected your life, and how you overcome those challenges every day?
Yeah, that's a great question, first of all. Yeah, I did your research. So I was born prematurely. My mom gave birth to me at 5.5 months. I weighed 1 pound. And because of that, I developed cerebral palsy, which affects me from the hips down. Like autism, CP runs on a spectrum. So it can affect you from your entire body, where you have to use a wheelchair. It can affect your vocal cords, where you can't speak. It can affect just one side of your body or not the other side. So for me, it affects me from the hips down. And I had to have surgery when I was a kid, when I had to wear braces, orthopedic braces as a kid, so that I can improve my walking abilities. And it wasn't until I discovered my love for dance that my walking abilities really improved. So dance became a form of physical therapy for me.
Wow.
And it improved my walking ability. And so how do I deal with it on a day-to-day basis? I get lots of muscle spasms. I get lots of tightness in my legs. So standing for a long period of time is problematic. Sitting down for too long is problematic. If I can keep it real with y'all, having sex can be an issue because people want to do things with my legs. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. My legs can do that. So that can be an issue sometimes. I just said that out loud. Wow. Okay. Keeping it real fresh, y'all, queer mister, to keep it real. And yeah, so there's a lot of different things that affects me. I can't go to a protest because I get anxiety around large crowds, but also if something were to go down, I can't run fast enough to get to safety. Right? And I can't walk for long periods of time or run for long periods of time. So that's how my disability manifests itself in my body. But if people look at me, they just think I have a gay walk. They don't think I have a disability.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you talk about dancing and how that help you improve you walking. So when did you start dancing?
I was 15 years old when I started dancing. I went to Rosa Parks for performing arts, and it's the only high school named after Rosa L. Parks herself, and in the U.S. And it's a performing arts school. And I went there for creative writing, and then I minored in dance because after my freshman year of high school, I was sitting in the back of the theater one day after school, and I was watching the dancers rehearse on stage, and I was like, I want to be like them. I want to be on stage too. I want to be in the spotlight. And never thinking that my disability was going to stop me from doing so, I just knew that I had no dance experience and no dance training. So my teacher / mentor, Erin Pride, a Black woman, took me under her wing, and she taught me everything I know about dance.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. And if you had to say, who is your, I would say, who do you look up to within the dance world aside from your mentor?
There's a couple people I look up to in the integrated dance world, meaning disabled, non-disabled dance companies. I look up to Judith Smith, a woman from Oakland, California, who founded one of the nation's most respected dance companies in the country. And I look up to my friend Mark Brew, who is an international choreographer, acclaimed choreographer, who got into a car accident at the prime of his career and left him paraplegic.
Wow.
And he continued to dance and he continued to choreograph. So I look up to him a lot, Mark Brew. And I also look up to Alvin Ailey.
Yes.
He's no longer alive, but Alvin Ailey broke ground for people of color, in particular Black modern dancers. And he was a pioneer. And so I hope to be one day, leave a lasting impression like Alvin Ailey.
Amazing. I'm sure you will.
So, apart from dancing, tell us a little bit more about the work you do across the communities as an activist.
Yeah, so I focus on LGBTQ issues. In particular, I focus on people of color, and I focus on intersectional identities. So what does it mean to deal with shame and to be gender non-conforming, and to be disabled, and to be gay, to be a person of color? Like, where we exist at the intersections where we all thrive, and we're going to live and die at the intersections of our identities. And so I do a lot of work around intersectional identities. I do a lot of work around disability and dance, not just the art form, but the political policy forming of it. How do we establish the art form? How do we get the respect? How do we get donors to donate to our dance form and to really see it for what it is, an actual art, and not just inspirational porn, like not just, oh my goodness, it's disabled person can dance. And no, we're more than that, we're artists. And so, yes, I do stuff around that. In education, I do things around art, organizing for the arts. Community building was one of my first jobs, working in the nonprofit sector. How do we build community through the arts? So we did an outdoor festival called Silk City Arts Festival in Paterson, New Jersey, where I really saw community building at its finest through the arts. So I fell in love with that. And then I ended up in higher education. After I graduated William Paterson, I got a job there. And then I got a job at John Jay doing communications and marketing. And my advocacy really centers on social justice in many different platforms. And I always give, advice I give young people who want to do this kind of work is know your lane, be educated about your lane, be empowered to tell your story, and stick to what you know. And so you won't see me out there protesting around reproductive rights. Not that I don't support reproductive rights or the importance of reproductive rights, but that doesn't affect me in the same way that it affects other people. So that's not my lane, right? So you won't see me organizing and mobilizing around reproductive rights, for example. But you'll see me organizing and mobilizing around disability justice, LGBT issues, Latinx issues, issues that impact education and access to education, things of that nature. So that's literally my advocacy work in a nutshell.
Wow, you're doing a lot. I'm like, okay, all right. You're out there. You're really hitting the ground hard and really fighting for the rights for all of these different avenues and these different aspects. That's really cool. And growing up, right, as a Latino, as gay, as a gender non-conforming person, how was that like in your community? How was that like for you?
Yeah, so I grew up in a predominantly Black and brown community. For most of my life, I was born in Miami, in Wynwood, before gentrification made that the most artistic hub in Miami. Yep. I grew up in the hood, and what I saw around me from a very young age was the importance of family. My cousins and I would walk on the streets in packs. There was lots of us. Each of my aunts had 6 kids. So what I learned growing up in my community was that family was everything. And that was going to be the cornerstone of our existence, right? That our families really motivate us and drive us and keep us going. That we have a responsibility to keep up our legacy as a people. And so growing up, I was the only man in my immediate family. I had all women in my immediate family. And so growing up, I never saw being feminine as a negative. I always saw it as a very powerful thing because I had a powerful mother, a powerful sister, a powerful niece. And I always saw that as being very powerful. So I never saw being feminine as something as a negative attribute. Mm-hmm. And so when I discovered that I was more effeminate, I thought to myself, oh, okay, I'm in tune with my feminine energy and there's nothing wrong with that. But society and machismo culture and Latinoisms and all these isms kept telling me that's not the way you're supposed to be a man. So it was Audre Lorde, Black feminist scholar, lesbian, poet, that gave me permission to define my own manhood. She talked about, in a documentary I watched during undergrad, she talked about how she would allow her son to define his own manhood because he was being raised by 2 women. And he needed permission to define his own manhood for himself. And by her telling that about her son, I realized I too could define my own manhood.
Absolutely.
And one that's not coded in toxic masculinity, one that's not coded in, the domination of women, but rather the empowerment of all people and lifting and using my privilege to help other people.
I know, right? Yes.
Yes, you're giving me all the feels right now. Oh my God.
God.
Wow, that's deep. And so how did you growing up come into this aspect of your latest book, Draft, an imperfect collection of writing?
Yeah, I actually have it. I'm looking at a copy of it right now and I still can't believe it's real.
Show it to us.
Yeah, show us the book.
Here's the book.
Dope. That's a dope cover too.
Yeah, I love all the words that are on the side of the face too. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, these are words that were used to describe me, from like faggot to activist, writer, Boricua, brown, gay, poor, queer, fag, dancer. So this book is 15 years in the making. I took 15 years worth of writing and I put it in a collection. And it's an imperfect collection, which, I don't know if you know Brene Brown, but Brene Brown is a white woman from Texas, research storyteller from the University of Houston. And she changed my life in 2013 when I discovered her work on Super Soul Sunday, thanks to Oprah. Oprah's my Jesus. So,
we're laughing because of something that I had said earlier.
So we had a question, sidebar. We had a question where we said, who would you kill off? Beyonce, Rihanna, Michelle Obama, or Oprah? And she picked she would kill Oprah.
I killed her. She
killed her.
I'm appalled.
But for you, I will bring her back. She is renewed.
Okay.
Keep going. Sorry, boo.
It's okay. So yeah, this book was about learning to love myself and my writing process and my writing journey through its imperfections. I won't call myself the best writer in the world, but what I would call myself is a very honest person and a very honest writer. And I think that's why my book is resonating with so many different people I don't even know, because it's not hard to read. It's very accessible. And I wanted my book to be accessible. I wanted my book to be, I come from a family where I'm the first person in my family to graduate college.
Yeah. And
I wanted to create something that my auntie could read.
Yeah.
That my college professor could read. That a young person going through all these identity issues could read and see themselves reflected. And so this book is that. It has original artwork. And it just really represents where I've been in my life. And so it lays out my life in a very memoir-like way, but through short essays and poetry.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know the whole thing is probably your favorite, but can you pick maybe like one piece of poetry or poem that you have in there that you can read to us really quick?
I knew that was coming. I felt that. I was like, oh, I feel it coming. I'll read Blank.
Okay.
Blank, well, I'll just read it and then I'll talk about it after. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. There it is. Bless you.
Thank you.
Blank. Arching my back to snap the perfect shot, I'm bare. Maybe this will make him react, make him so erect that he won't notice how empty I am. I'm blank. All that remains is shame. Arching my back, he doesn't even know my name. All he knows that I'm thick, uncut, curvy, unafraid to show it all. He may think I'm easy, another fast track. Arching my back, inviting a stranger's touch, lusting for his lips as I sway my hips side to side, waiting for a momentary rush between the sheets. All that remains is a body filled with shame. Arching my back, snap after snap, pretending it was just a photo. It did not mean anything. He could look but not touch, until I found myself in the backseat of his car. I felt cheap. My lower back pressed against the door, trying to ignore every thought telling me, you deserve more. Arching my back so another stranger could hit my spot. He said, "You could build walls with the bodies you've given your all, but did any of them ever make love to you?" No.
I love that. Now, let's walk us through that. Now, why? I'm wondering. The first thing I thought was, why the shame?
Yeah. Going back to Brene Brown, I discovered her work in 2013, and this white woman from Texas changed my life. And she made me realize that I had been carrying around for 22 years all this shame around my family, around my identity, around who I was as a person at the time. And I was just drowning in shame. And when you're drowning in shame, all you want to do is numb from it, right? It's like I was reaching out for life jackets, but they were all coded in negative things. So sex with strangers, sending naked pictures, being really just, not just like, it's one thing to claim your sexuality and to be empowered to be sexual. It's one thing when you are being sexual in order to numb.
Yeah.
There's a distinction there. There's nothing wrong with being sexual. There's nothing shameful about being empowered to be sexual, to be in touch or rooted in the erotic. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was using it to numb. Yeah. And that's why there was so much shame. And shame was a current theme in that piece.
That's a deep piece. I think a lot of people can relate to that piece there, you know? People go through that all the time. Was that like an experience that you had? Like a specific experience that came to you? Or is it like pieces of experiences that you put together for that piece right there?
It was pieces of experiences that I put together. And it kept coming up because this one guy kept telling me, "Why don't you have a boyfriend? Why don't you have a boyfriend? You're such a great guy. Why don't you have a boyfriend?" And I thought to myself, I didn't say this to him, but I thought to myself, because I'm still messing around with guys like you who have girlfriends.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kind of want to unpack that a little bit. Like, so would you still find yourself in a situation with a man that is involved with a woman, or that might be on the down low?
Yeah, I found myself in situations. I don't actively pursue it. Like I'm not going out of my way to get a down low brother or whatever. Like I'm not doing that. But there's still instances where they approach me, where they come after me, and so I have to kind of decide whether to engage or not to engage. Yeah. And something that I had to learn was that if it wasn't me that they were pursuing, they're going to pursue someone else, right? Like it is what it is. I can't control that. But what I can control is who I invest my energy into. Yeah. So I no longer invest my energy in people who are down low or people who are going to be involved with other people. Now, unless they're in a polyamorous relationship where they have multiple partners and everyone's down with them being open and exploring other things with other people, that's different. And there is someone who I'm involved with on a very platonic level that is in a poly relationship, and we have a mutual understanding.
I see. And how does it work within the gay male role of you being gender non-conforming? And could you explain what gender non-conforming is for the audience?
Sure. So gender non-conforming, for me, I can only define it for myself because it varies for every person. For me, it means that I sometimes dress in a more effeminate way. I don't care whether the clothes is gendered for women or men. If I like something, I'm going to buy it. Sometimes that means I wear makeup. Sometimes that means that I dye my hair and get my nails done. It means that I'm a man who's very comfortable in his own skin and expresses it in a very different way. So
a question going back to your book, you know, so once you completed that book, once you finished that beautiful cover, and once you got your first printed copy, what do you think is one thing you learned about yourself once that project was completed?
The one thing I learned about myself once the project was completed was, one, I was always worthy of this dream. I was always worthy of the dream of having my own book, of being an author, being a published writer. That I was always worthy of that. And once I completed it, I realized, wow, I doubted myself for so long. And then I finally did it. And it's resonating with people like Carol and like other people who are reading the book and telling me about it. And I'm just like, okay, I'm worthy of this.
Yes.
I'm worthy. So that's what I took away from the book.
And if you could say anything to the people that have doubted you, the people that may have bullied you, the people that may not have thought you could achieve all that you have achieved, what would you say? What would you say to those people?
I forgive you.
You're so sweet. I forgive you.
Yeah, because I really, Nathan in 3rd grade stole my girlfriend and called me a freak in the cafeteria in front of everyone.
Wow.
And it was my first time that I realized, holy crap, like, I'm different than everyone else. Because he othered me, right? That was my first earlier experience of being othered for my disability. And later I'd be othered for being gay. And later I'd be othered for being gender non-conforming. And then I'd be othered for being Latinx. And so I would just say I forgive them because every experience that they put me through has led me to where I am today. I wouldn't be the person I am today had I not experienced the bullying and the harassment. And on the flip side, for anyone that I hurt or bullied, I hope they can find in their hearts to forgive me because I also was on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, it's true. So what's next for you? What is 2018 looking like for you?
I'm currently back in the studio with my dance company for our 9th season, our 9th year at the company. I started the company when I was 17 years old, and we are creating a new piece called Split, which is an autobiographical piece about mental illness and a relationship between a mother and son. Both my mom and I have bipolar disorder, so it's going to be exploring that concept and what that means. And yeah, so that's what I'm working on in 2018. And then I'm working on more blogs, more pieces. I'm applying for grad school to get my MFA in creative writing.
Where are you applying?
City College of New York.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just finished my application. And so 2018 hopefully will be the start of grad school and finishing this new piece and performing it. And it'll be hopefully one filled with love and happiness.
I know it will be. You have so much positive light and positive energy around you. Guaranteed.
Thank you.
Guaranteed, Mark. You're amazing. And you can purchase Mark's book, Drafts, an Imperfect Collection of Writing on Amazon. You'll find that link right there in the description. We'll put that there for you. You'll be able to find more poems like the poem that he for us today, which was
Blank.
And you can also follow Mark on Instagram and Twitter at Trav Rivera. Once again, we'll put that down there for you. And you can also visit marktravisrivera.com just in order to contact Mark and learn more about him and his journey. So thank you so much for joining us today, Mark. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We're looking forward to learning more about what you're doing, and keep us in touch with what's going on with your events for the dance company and everything. We'd love to share those.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.